my parents died in a car accident. Right before my mom passed, she sent us a voice memo. This is going to be a long story, but I just need this off my chest. Here is what happened. In March 2022, I, 16M, got a text from my mom in our family app. In this app we have both my parents, me, my sister and my brother. I found this very odd. My mom always texted or called. She knew about the voice memo because I explained it to her, but she never used it. At this time I was in school, our class just ended and I was still sitting in the classroom. I put on my headphones to listen to what my mom sent me. When all of a sudden I felt sick to my stomach. I had a bad feeling about this. I played the message. I heard heavy breathing. My mom started speaking. She explained she and my dad had been in a car crash. Her voice was breaking. I couldn't tell if it was because of the pain, or that it was because she had been crying. She said that our dad had passed on impact. She also said that our dad loved us and cared about us. At this point I started to cry. I was still sitting in the classroom, unable to move. Listening to my mom explaining that she and dad loved us. That we needed to take care of each other, be there for each other, and protect each other. After that she said she loved us one more time, and then it stopped. I couldn't believe what just happened. I was hoping it wasn't real. A part of me still thought they were alive. I saw my brother in the hallway, messing and laughing with his friends. After he said goodbye to his friends, he saw me. He come over to the doorway, calling my name. I wasn't able to answer. I was having a panic attack. Classmates looked at me like I was nuts, but for once I couldn't care less. My brother came over to me, asking what was wrong. I wasn't able to speak. And how do you tell your brother that his parents passed? I pulled off my headphones and put it on his head, with my shaking hands. I pressed play. I watched my brother's facial expression going from worried to panicking and crying. Shortly after this our sister called. I picked up. We knew that the other one knew. We didn't really talk to each other, we just sat there. About an hour later 2 policemen came into my class. They took me and my brother. We went into the car. The whole ride was silent. The policemen didn't say anything, but I could see their sad facial expressions. Once arrived at the bureau, we saw our sister there. The 3 of us just hugged and cried for a bit. We all sat down, the 3 of us and the 2 policemen. The policeman explained to us that our parents had been in a car crash that involved a driver under the influence. The driver apparently had some minor injuries. They also told us some other things which I won't give any details about. At this point I just felt numb and sad for the most part. In between staring to the wall or the floor, I asked the policeman some details, mostly about the driver. The weeks after that were blurry. I only remember that we were trying to stay together, because my brother and I were still minors. We didn't want to end up in foster homes. It has been almost a year now. It's been the toughest year of my life. We still live the house of our parents. Our sister was able to be our legal guardian. We take care of each other, like my mom asked us to. Sometimes I wonder how it would be if they would still be here. Don't get me wrong, I have a great bond with my siblings. But I miss our parents. I know my brother and sister also do. This was it. I just needed to tell someone this. Thank you if you've been reading all of this. I appreciate it.
Comment_1. You're not expected to know what to do even though it's been almost a year. I'm a woman in my mid-40s who suddenly lost my long-term partner, nearly 2 decades, nearly 2 years ago. I'm still figuring out life without him while trying to be the best parent I can be to our child. It's hard. I suddenly lost my father 12.5 years ago. It still hurts. Be gentle with yourself. You and your siblings will make mistakes. You're human. But, keep being there for each other, loving each other. It's one day at a time, and one foot in front of the other. Some days will be easier than others. And, just when you think you may have your grief under control, you may find yourself reacting as if it all just happened yesterday. Grief is not linear. So, Be kind to yourself. If you need to take a nap, do it. If you need to sit in the sun for a little while, do it. Practicing self-care is not selfish. You and your siblings have been through so much already that I believe self-care is a must for your healing process. I wish nothing but peace and happiness to you and your siblings, and I sincerely hope that you all will come out on the other side of this traumatic event stronger and in a good place. I'm still pretty young, and I've had a few really close friends lose their parents. I am still lucky enough to have mine around, so when they lost their parents, I had no idea how to help them heal. I had never experienced a loss that great, and I can't even begin to imagine how I'd handle that, let alone a situation as intense, hollowing, and traumatic as yours and your siblings. To figure out how to support said friends, I read a book called Option B by Sheryl Sandberg and Adam Grant. The author's husband very suddenly passed away at a young age. Their kids were also quite young. She talks about how she navigates something so earth-shattering, especially when she didn't see it coming even remotely. I would recommend reading it if you ever feel up to it, though I understand you are in an incredibly hard period in life and this may be a lot right now. I will share a few important things I gathered. It's okay to lean on others for support. Maybe you feel you don't have the best support system at this point in time, but lean on the people you do trust, and in the meantime, having people who know the exact feeling of what you're going through is so important. You are now part of a club no one ever wishes to be part of, the club of being a child without your parents. My dad lost both of his parents in 2017 within a month when he was 50, and even at his age, it still weighs heavy on his heart to be in the deceased parents club. There are often local support groups as well as virtual support groups filled with people who have unfortunately encountered pain in a way quite similar to you. This will also give you an opportunity to interact with people who have been in this club a little longer, and have started to navigate the healing process a little more than you have been able to due to the recency of your parents' passing. Having their perspective and support could be a game changer. A huge thing that stuck with me was, continue to bring their names into conversation. I had a tendency to tiptoe around these topics with my friends because I was so fearful I'd upset them, but the reality is, most of them were relieved I addressed the elephant in the room. They have all the love in the world for their parents, and when people stopped having those conversations, it was like their parents died all over again by dying in conversation. I have made a note to let my friends know that I am always here to help them keep their parents alive by including them in the conversation, though it is incredibly understandable if you do find yourself wishing to avoid the subject at times. There's a saying that goes, grief is love with nowhere to go. I always thought of this in the midst of the deaths of people I have loved so dearly, and I thought it to be true. But I don't think it always is. Grief is something that never goes away in full. It is something you learn to make room for. Time makes the weight so much lighter, that's true, but it never full disappears. You will come to a point in your life where you feel a sense of normalcy again, though it will be a new normal. Grief is love that has everywhere to go. I lost one of my favorite people in the world very suddenly a year and a half ago, and though it is not comparable to your experience by any means, I did learn that the love I gave to her, and still give to her, was now something I could spread everywhere. I feel her love when the sun shines on my face. I feel her love when I see the flowers bloom because she always helped me with my garden. I feel her love when I hear her favorite music. I feel her love when I think of her. And I use this love and put it back into the world in a way that she once did, in a way that I know would make her light up. Healing isn't linear. There will come days to come where you think to yourself, I think I am feeling more at peace about this today. And then there will be days to come that follow where the grief is overbearing and you can't help but let the tears fall. Be honest with yourself about the healing process, always remembering that the hard days will come from time to time, but that doesn't mean you aren't still healing as the days go on. It's not a personal failure if bad days follow good days. You are still on your journey and still filled with strength and resilience. This was incredibly long, so for that I apologize. My heart aches for you. Please seek therapy if you haven't and be so kind to yourself. You are stronger than you'll ever know. Sending you so much love and thinking of you. Comment_3. It's crazy, huh? Like everyday life revolves around a certain event or time period to the point where, it's been years since, makes you wonder why is time still moving? Like why does the sun still rise, why do restaurants still open in the morning, why is life continuing for everything but me? At some point even the wound is still as fresh and painful as ever you realize it's been actual years. I mean years ago. 1 to 3 years the wound is still incredibly recent. Sometimes I wonder if it'll ever stop. I still have my father. As a matter of fact it's 4:52 a.m. and I just heard him open the fridge to get ready for work while I write this. I'm thankful for my dad even my mother is now gone. Our loved ones really are everything in this life. They truly are. I know it sounds rough but if I picked a woman to be the mother of my children, I wouldn't want to die any other way than beside her. If our spirits are real, which I do believe, then they literally got to experience going on to the next season of life together. That's gotta be some deep spiritual stuff to experience with someone. Something tells me that both of your parents' spirit knew it was going to end this way, and decided that one of the two are going to survive long enough to say goodbye before moving on together. All of life is from and for the perspective of eternity, not our personal wants and needs. You may or may not see it now, but one day you'll understand. All of this is the backstory to your purpose in life. But damn, I would be lying if I said it did not come with unbearable trauma sometimes.